Hello guys, welcome back to the Legal Room podcast. We are on our third episode today. This episode covers defamation or social media defamation to be precise, and I will be giving an insight on posting, sharing, tweeting, commenting on defamation content and distributing news and videos without the owner's consent. We all have seen how people like sharing and tweeting content without the owner's consent, and sometimes sharing other people's photos, videos, and any content on our WhatsApp or social media in general. People will have to know that this is very dangerous and people should refrain from doing it. I will start by defining what social media is and move on to defamation. Social media refers to websites and applications that enables users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. Defamation involves writing or saying something about someone that damages that person's reputation. This extends to damaging a person's business reputation. In legal terms, defamation refers to any statement that is made or published with the effect of damaging the good reputation of another person or another person's business. The person who has been defamed by this statement will have a legal recourse and is able to claim damages from the person who made the harmful or defamatory statements. In business, you can be able to claim the financial loss you have suffered as a result of this. So if people see that there is a post or a status written about anything that damages that person's reputation or business reputation, they will just have to screenshot or save the page or URL just to make sure that if they need to pursue a civil claim, at least they can have a proof of this. The use of social media for communication has exploded recently. Much of what people post on sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and other sites is negative and even mean-spirited, and sometimes it damages the reputation of others. Posting something negative or mean-spirited is not in itself illegal or subject to a lawsuit. However, the question of whether you can be sued for negative comments you post on social media depends on whether your words constitute defamation. A statement posted or shared on social media will probably qualify for defamation if that statement is presented as a true statement, but in fact be an untrue statement. Before I expand more into this, it is important to know categories of defamation. In South African law, we have two categories of defamation. We have a libel defamation and slander defamation. When we talk about libel defamation, we are talking about written or published defamation. When we talk about slander, we are talking about a spoken defamation. So slander is a legal term that refers to a false or oral statement about an individual that harms his reputation or standing within the community. These can be statements that are made in anger or malice which are untrue. In order to qualify as slander, the statement must be untrue but told to others as though it were true. These are statements that the person at least believes to be true. Examples of slander include claiming a person is gay, lesbian, or bisexual when it is untrue in an attempt to harm his or her reputation. Telling someone that a certain person cheated on his taxes or committed tax fraud. Saying that a certain person had an affair with a supervisor or manager in order to receive a promotion. This may be considered slander against two people. Claiming that a certain person has a sexual transmitted disease. So I will now move on to the second category, which is libel defamation. This is a published false statement that is damaging to a person's reputation. Defamation involving posts that appear on social media is considered libel since the statement is published or posted, often with the victims' names attached. I will at least give just one case law that I've read that highlighted on defamation. It was the case of Nadia van der Westhuizen versus Morgan. In 2015, the South Gauteng High Court awarded a human resource manager 50,000 in damages after she was called a liar and an unintelligent white girl. So the victim in this case was told that she's a liar and unintelligent at the presence of her colleagues. The court said that the harm was reputational and considered the statements to be defaming in nature. People should know this. A statement is defamatory if it is likely to injure the good esteem in which a person is held by the reasonable average person to whom it has been published. It includes not only statements that expose the person to hatred, contempt, or ridicule, but also statements that are likely to humiliate or belittle that person, which tend to make him or her look foolish, ridiculous, or absurd, or which renders that person less worthy of respect by his or her peers. Defamation defense. The best defense against a defamation lawsuit based on comments you make online is that what you have posted is true. If your statement is variable true, you are off the hook, but proving truth will be time consuming and expensive. Or if you can prove that you posted comments or the comments that you posted are merely your opinion and not a perpetual statement or fact, that is sufficient or can be sufficient for defamation defense. Opinion like truth is not always easy to prove. Saying I think or it is my opinion that, it is not sufficient to prove a statement, or it will give you a very difficult spotlight in order for you to prove that. Reason being that I think my neighbor killed his wife. As my own opinion, the wording may suggest that it's an opinion, but the fact that you know your neighbor and that readers may conclude that you have knowledge about the situation transforms that statement into one of a potentially variable fact. Defamation concerning public figures. Public figures cannot sue you for posting negative comments about them unless they can prove actual malice, which is defined as knowingly making statements that are false or acting with reckless disregard for the truth or falsity of your statements. Public figures only have to meet the actual malice condition if the defamation relates to the specific cause or activity in which they are engaged in. Being insulted by another person can be hateful, embarrassing, and damaging. Most of the time we are told to just develop a thicker skin and move on. But what if the insult is an attack on your ability as a person? When it goes this far, it can be considered defamation. The last issue or topic that I will discuss is revenge porn. This is really important, and especially to people who share tweets or Instagram stories of sexual explicit content. The issue of sharing, tweeting, and posting people's sexual explicit images and videos is criminalized if it is done without the owner's consent. It is termed revenge porn, and our president signed this into law in 2019. For those not in the know, revenge porn refers to the sharing of or distribution of any nude or sexual explicit material if someone without their permission or consent with the express purpose of humiliating them. So the victim may now lay criminal charges against anyone who distributes or shares this material on social media. It can be in text message, via electronic communication, or on a pornographic website. Anyone who breaks the revenge porn laws in South Africa and is found guilty of sharing or distributing revenge porn will face time behind bars or will be fined. It's a shocking moment when you discover private images or videos of yourself that was sent to another person, shared across social media, internet, email, or any messaging app. Maybe you took a nude picture for your lover, or maybe you let someone take news photos of you during a vulnerable moment. If you are the owner of the images, it is illegal for a third party to share any images or videos without your consent, especially when done so for malicious reason. This is revenge porn as I've discussed, and is now illegal in South Africa. In summary, here are 5 things that I would like people to know. Actually, not 5, I can just say 3 things that people should know. Always think before you post, tweet, or share anything on social media. If you would not print it on a billboard with your name attached for the whole world to see, would you post it on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? So those are kind of things that you will need to ask yourself before you tweet, before you post or write or share anything, because if there is any legal implication into that, you will also be involved. I know that our people like sharing things on Twitter, Instagram stories for celebrity life and all that. When those people are getting sued or there is legal claim against them, you may be involved as a person who distributed this, and also is criminal liable. You can be sued for tweeting a statement that could cause harm to others. This is something that people should really know. And don't just like or tweet statements, tweets and whatnot that you really don't have any full insight on. So let's make sure we use our social media platforms in a rightful manner to not regret in the future. Thank you for watching. Bye.